India-Pakistan relationship is one of the most complex bilateral relationship, not only in the Indian subcontinent, but also in the entire world. As per the opinion of political scientists and the experts, the complexity in the bilateral relationship can be traced to the very origin of these two countries. If you trace the origin of India and Pakistan, it can be traced to the Indian Independence Act. The Indian Independence Act of 1947. The Indian Independence Act 1947 allowed the British provinces to be partitioned into India and Pakistan. And in fact, this partition was not peaceful. The partition had a violent background. It was not only violent, but in the words of the political analyst, India and Pakistan also had ideological differences. India, which believed in the idea of secularism, Pakistan, which believed in the idea of Islamic State. And therefore, the complexity in the relationship would be quite natural and would continue to be do so. It is not only these factors that contributed to the complexity. India and Pakistan both are nuclear states. India and Pakistan have engaged in multiple conventional wars. At least there were 4 conventional wars between India and Pakistan till this point of time. 1947-48, 1965, 1999, and in fact in 1971 once. So all these factors has contributed to the complexity of the bilateral relation between India and Pakistan. But however, the most important or the defining factor that led to the conflict and the complexity in the bilateral relationship is the dispute over Kashmir or the conflict over Jammu and Kashmir. To understand the conflict over Jammu and Kashmir, again we'll have to trace back to the Indian Independence Act 1947. The Indian Independence Act 1947 allowed the British provinces to be divided into India and Pakistan. And in addition to the British provinces, there were princely states. And as per this act, the princely states were free to either join India or Pakistan. Now, most of the princely states joined with India, but the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir chose to remain independent. But for long, it was not able to remain independent because there was aggression against the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir by the Pashtunan tribes backed by the Pakistan army. Under such a circumstance, the Maharaja Hari Singh of Jammu and Kashmir has sought the help of Government of India. The Government of India provided military support, and in return, Maharaja Hari Singh has signed an instrument of accession with Government of India. This instrument of accession was signed in October 1947, and subsequently India recognized Jammu and Kashmir as an integral part of India. Not willing to accept this development, Pakistan engaged in a full-fledged war with India. 1947-1948, there was war between India and Pakistan. And in 1949, there was a ceasefire agreement that was signed between India and Pakistan, mediated by the United Nations. As per the ceasefire agreement, the line of control would be the control between these two countries. Line of control is not the international border. Line of control is the border up to which both the militaries had their respective control. Or in other words, line of control would continue to be the boundary between India administered Jammu and Kashmir and Pakistan administered Jammu and Kashmir. Now this situation continued till 1965. 1965, the Pakistan army underestimated the strength of Indian army, and again they have shown aggression against India, where they thought by this aggression they can capture Jammu and Kashmir. And what was the reason for this miscalculation and misjudgment of the might of Indian army by the Pakistan? Is this happened in the backdrop of 1962. 1962, there was a war between India and China, and unfortunately, India lost the war. And because of this, the Pakistan army thought that the Indian army is suffering from some kind of moral defeat and also weakened because of the defeat in the hands of the Chinese. And this is where they thought that they can defeat the Indian army. So once again, they engage in aggression with India. But however, India has shown its military might to Pakistan. India was not only able to defend Jammu and Kashmir, but also moved parts of Pakistan, moved inside parts of Pakistan. And again, there was an UN intervention, this time led by both USA and USSR. And this UN intervention again brought in ceasefire between India and Pakistan, which was signed by then Prime Minister of India, Lal Bahadur Shastri, and the President of Pakistan, Ayub Khan. Again, the line of control continued to be the boundary between India administered Jammu and Kashmir and Pakistan administered Jammu and Kashmir. This continued till 1999, and in 1999 there was again war between India and Pakistan, which happened to be called as the Kargil War. But before I go to the Kargil War, we should also understand that there was one more war between India and Pakistan that happened in 1971. But however, the 1971 war was not related to the dispute over Jammu and Kashmir. The 1971 war was to liberate Bangladesh from Pakistan, where India played a very important role in liberating East Pakistan or Bangladesh from the control of West Pakistan. And in fact, as per the political analyst, after this 1971 war, in the subcontinent, India is considered to be a major player or more powerful than Pakistan. And India helped to liberate the East Pakistan from the West Pakistan. And subsequently, India also defeated the Pakistan in the army. And subsequently, an agreement was entered into by the Indian leadership and the Pakistan leadership. And this agreement came to be what is called as Simla Agreement. Although I am not discussing this particular war in detail, because I'll discuss the India-Pakistan war that led to the liberation of Bangladesh in the next lecture. But however, the India-Pakistan war in 1971 that resulted in what is called a Simla Agreement. And as per the Simla Agreement, it has got some significance because the Simla Agreement made it very clear any bilateral disputes between India and Pakistan post the Simla Agreement would be resolved only bilaterally, and there is no place for any third party negotiation or others to intervene in a bilateral conflict. So it is under this backdrop the relationship continued and there was no dispute till 1999. And this phase did not see much of the dispute because of, again, as per the political analysts, so this is a phase where both the states have become nuclear. India first started becoming a nuclear state, and subsequently Pakistan also followed. They also become nuclear. Therefore, there was not much scope to engage in direct confrontation because both the states have now become nuclear. However, under this backdrop, the Kargil War happened in 1999 because again it was a misplaced adventure by Pakistan. Now we already seen as a part of the Simla Agreement. So any dispute between India and Pakistan would be resolved bilaterally, and in fact the Shimla agreement recognized the line of control between India and Pakistan. So now it has been recognized by both the countries. It was a conventional practice on the part of the Indian Army that they would retreat from some of the high altitude posts during winter. You know that Jammu and Kashmir, it has got lot of high altitude posts. A post is nothing but an outpost, or a post is nothing but where India will have its army strategically to prevent any aggression or infiltration from the foreign countries. So similarly, if you see Kargil sector in the Jammu and Kashmir, a lot of high altitude posts. So the conventional practice is Indian Army would retreat from these high altitude posts during winter, because the winter would be extremely difficult. And it is also already recognized that the line of control to be the boundary between India administered Jammu and Kashmir and Pakistan administered Jammu and Kashmir. It is under such a circumstance in 1999, the Pakistan army under the leadership of General Parvez Musharraf, they tried to take control of some of the outposts or some of the posts in the Kargil sector, which is under the control of the Indian Army. And that is when India swiftly responded to this particular objective of the Pakistanis. And in fact, the objective of the Pakistan army is to cut off Ladakh from India. So strategically, they were trying to take control over certain posts where they could cut off Ladakh from India. And India has again shown their military might. It has used its air force and other resources at its disposal to take back control of all these posts. So again, it was not only a military setback for Pakistan, but also a diplomatic setback, because this time most of the countries could not support Pakistan because Pakistan has violated the Shimla agreement. In fact, the objective of Pakistan under General Parvez Musharraf is by taking control of Ladakh and certain posts in Kargil, they would renegotiate the Jammu and Kashmir conflict with India. But however, India has successfully prevented this plan of Pakistan again, and it has again displayed its military might against Pakistan. Now, even today, the issue of Jammu and Kashmir continues to be an issue. But however, way back in 1950, when the Indian Constitution came into force, the Constitution has given a special status to Jammu and Kashmir. Not only it has given a special status to Jammu and Kashmir, the Constitution recognizes Jammu and Kashmir as an integral part of India. And even today, the stand of Government of India is Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India, which is not acceptable to the Pakistan, where Pakistan tried to take Jammu and Kashmir from India. That continues to be the major dispute. But however, the dispute is not only the issue of Jammu and Kashmir, which is one of the core conflict between India and Pakistan in their diplomatic relationship or in their bilateral relationship. But apart from this, there are also other issues that is concerning the bilateral relation between India and Pakistan, which we would continue to see in part 2. And that's all for the relationship between India and Pakistan in this episode. We'll continue seeing the remaining disputes in the next part. Thank you very much. All the best.